got a big list of stuff I've heard here. So I'll just go with the first thing I listened to proper this year, which was a self-titled album by Malibu Ken. This is a bit of experimental hip hop. It is a collaboration between A$AP Rock, so very wordy, sort of quite verbose hip hop, and sort of electronica producer Tobacco. So I like A$AP Rock. I think his wordplay is they did that thing online where they ranked all of the rappers in terms of vocabulary, in terms of the widest vocabulary.
Yeah,
and I think he, by quite a margin, was the heaviest or the largest vocabulary. So he's always really interesting in terms of subject matter and use of phrase and sort of odd structures in terms of the vocals. If you like A$AP Rock, it's very much in a similar vein to what you've heard before. The difference with this, I think, is with Tobacco coming from a more sort of glitchy electronica sort of experimental thing. The beats are slightly off kilter, and it's a little strange. Some of Tobacco's vocals that come in at sort of like a heavily vocoded or synthesized sort of voice. It's a bit strange, the pairing, because you've got because the great thing about A$AP Rock and what I like about his voice is that he's very clear and the pronunciation is so on point. It's sort of like, because the use of words and language is so interesting, I think he makes it very clear what he's saying. So every single rhyme happens like, it's sort of, you can tell exactly what he's saying. And then you have this weird, very sort of late Kanye West vocoder voice. And mostly it works. The singles are great. I think the first one was, oh Christ, I'm always terrible with song titles. The first song on the album is great. I think that was the first single.
Yeah.
And it tackles some strange subject matters, as you would expect from A$AP Rock. But yeah, mostly it's really good. It's a short album. Fun little experimental hip hop record. If you're a fan of A$AP Rock and Tobacco, you're gonna like it. It's not changing up what they do dramatically, but what they do is so good anyway. This is another good addition to it. So that was sort of the first thing I heard this year.
Okay.
I thought, this is quite good.
Yeah.
It's a solid 7 or 8 out of 10 probably.
Okay.
It's not earth changing, and it's certainly, you've heard it before from them, but it's just like good quality underground hip hop. So yeah, that was a good one.
Cool. It's I've not really listened to any of his stuff since Impossible Kid.
Oh yeah.
Like, I remember listening to that a lot when it first came out, and I liked it a lot. Yeah. Didn't go back and listen to any of his stuff, and I haven't listened to anything in a while, but I have to give a look, because I actually do like the heavier, glitchier stuff on Impossible Kid anyway.
This
so
one, it has little bits of that. There's a really disgusting song on it. There was the footage of, like, there was a webcam footage online. This became like a meme like last year or the year before, where it was like in an eagle's nest, and they had like a GoPro in there, and then apparently, they were watching these chicks hatch. That was the point of it. But then apparently, this eagle brought back a kitten, and they just, killed this kitten and ate it. There's a song about that on this album. So in terms of his subject matter, he's always very interesting, and that has some. I've not written down the lyrics to that one, but that has some really disgusting and really funny lyrics to it. So I'd have a listen to that. It's good fun. It's a good fun album. What about you? What did you first? What were you first enamoured with?
I mean, the first album I listened to, the one that I was anticipating the most as well, all of last year basically, and it just so happened to fall like sort of mid-January, so it was like a pretty quick, nice little thing to have right at the beginning of the year. But it was the new Twilight Sad album.
Yeah, okay.
It won't be like this all the time. I've been a Twilight Sad fan basically, I think, since the second album, and then like went back and sort of found other demos and stuff like that, and their amazing cover of 24 Hours by Joy Division and stuff like that, and instantly fell in love. I was like, ooh, the really chunky, miserable sounding, and like the really nice broad Scottish accent, the guy singing, but he's still crystal clear, you can hear everything he's saying.
See, I didn't know them. I knew the name, just being Scottish, you saw the name quite a lot, and I always got them confused with Frightened Rabbit. So, because I'm not great with keeping up to date with local bands or what's happening in terms of the Scottish indie scene or whatever.
Yeah.
So I will have heard it, but I'm not as clued up as you. But I listened to this album. It's good. I like it.
I always thought it was quite strange that you didn't really ever find them. Yeah. Or that you never fell instantly in love with them.
It is my sort of thing.
Yeah, it's exactly your kind of speed, and it's like it reminded me, the guy's voice and like how miserable it is reminded me of like Father John and Uncle John and Whitelock.
Oh God!
Where it was like
the greatest Scottish band ever.
That was like you were one of the very few people on earth who probably knew who Uncle John and Whitelock were.
I loved them.
The Twilight Sad didn't blow up. There was never one moment where it was like, oh my god, you have to listen to that, like Frightened Rabbit did. Frightened Rabbit became like basically pretty much, I'd say, like not on par with Biffy Clyro, but about as known in Glasgow at least, and in Scotland at least. But like the Twilight Sad have never really exploded, but they've got all these, like they've got a lot of praise critically, and they've got all these fans in the music world. Like The Cure really took to them and took them on tour and everything like that, because you can hear the influence. But I don't have a problem with it leaning further away from just inherently shoegaze, because that's where it started. Was they were very shoegazy, very forlorn, very wall of noise, just sheer racket, like intense guitars and stuff like that. Then they started to get a little bit more synth bleeding in, like a little bit more electronic stuff bleeding in, and a lot more melody, and like the guitars started to tone down a little bit, but they're still noisy, like still really, really loud, and you can hear that on this album as well, where it's just like this clamour with these really, really brilliant fucking hooks, like really, really clear, perfect choruses. It's not so heavy that it'll put as many people off anymore. I think they're more accessible than they've ever been, but they're definitely still miserable. And they're definitely still heavy and loud. But
little bit of like My Bloody Valentine, Kevin Shields sort of stuff, but it's not as arty, I guess. It's just sort of like
it's gone a bit more in a traditional pop route, which is actually is a recurring thing in the list that I've built here. There's like the next album I want to talk about, but we'll get to that, is another one where you can feel the pop influence bleeding in more and more and more as the band's career progresses, and it's not a bad thing. For a lot of people that they'd be like, nah, it sounds like shit now, but it's like, I don't care if it's less interesting. I just love the fact that it's easier to listen to and a lot more fun to listen to.
I think what happens with an appreciation of pop generally is most music opinions are formed in your teenage years, so you sort of maybe gravitate away from it slightly. You sort of go, oh, I'm more into experimental music, or I'm more into sort of stuff. And certainly I'm like this, but then sometimes there's something about just the way that pop music, or more precisely, well-made pop music can just like, there's something golden about 3 minutes or 4 minutes of a good song, and you're just like, oh, you've got me. It's like, it goes past your pretentious music critic mind, and you just go, I just want to dance. This is really this has got a great hook, and I can just get into it. No, I think looking at my list as well, it's definitely it's a little poppier so far than my end of year list last year.
But I mean, if I had to, again, if we're going to give these things like maybe some like sort of cursory ratings, this album's probably going to end up being my album of the year, because every time I listen to it, I love it more and more, and I already loved it at the start, so I'm giving it, like, I'd have to give it, like, a really, really strong 9. So what you got?
My next album, now I've only listened to this maybe twice again. It's the total polar opposite of poppiness, but it's right. This album is pretentious, and it's a difficult listen, but there's some interesting things in it. I really quite liked the new Shoo Shoo record. Girl with a Basket. It's sort of, I suppose you would call it sort of experimental post music, maybe, is that the term? I don't really know, but basically they're an art collective for a sort of very arty group, and they put out all these sort of strange records, some of them more poppy than others. I really liked the reimagining of the Twin Peaks soundtrack. That was great.
Okay.
That's one from a few years ago worth listening. This one is sort of like a very abrasive, very noisy, sort of like a little bit of Swans maybe.
Okay.
And it's got these sort of strange passages in the music where it'll suddenly change, time structure or seemingly genre, and then sort of strange instrumentation will come in. It's almost sort of like something like Captain Beefheart in terms of what the fuck is this? Like, it's so sort of somehow it doesn't seem like, on the first listen it seems to just be a fucking mess, and you're just like, what is this? Just, it's like what you would imagine avant-garde music to be. If you're thinking, avant-garde music, that's exactly it. And it's just like the tonality's all over the place, and it's very strange, but once you've sort of accustomed your ear to it, there's little things in the album that are sort of interesting. Little passages in music change, and you're just quite, this is quite interesting. It's an album that will put off a lot of people, and it is a difficult listen, but there is interesting things in there. So it's probably not going to be my favourite album of the year, but there's enough interesting experimental music on there that it's worth a listen. So,
I know it definitely put me off.
Yeah,
I listened to the first single that dropped off of it, and I was like, I fucking hate this.
I know.
I hate everything about it. And that's weird as well, because sometimes a bit of wank gets me. I really like a bit of wank sometimes, but this did nothing for me. It's
I don't know who it's for. This record, it's interesting, but it's sort of, some of it's almost painful, but it's sort of interesting, the music. But yeah, so go, if you're gonna listen to that, go in with some level of caution. Or just don't listen to it and listen to the Twin Peaks record. Go home and listen to that. I don't even know why I've mentioned that, because you know what? Yeah, it's good. Go listen to it. It's fine. It's good. What about you? What else? So you are something else poppy coming along?
Yeah, a band that's sort of discovering more and more their poppy side, which I don't really have. I don't have a problem with, again, on this record in particular. Health, Volume 4, Slaves of Fear, is not the Health that you know from the mid-2000s and whatnot. They are a completely different band now. They are more of, how would I describe it? They're basically dark wave industrial pop.
Okay.
They're leaning heavier into big choruses and much, much easier to understand song structures. Okay. And again, this is not a bad thing for this album in particular, because the first two Health albums, just sheer noise, and great in their own way, especially just as an onslaught of when you see them live, especially, it's a hell of a show, and they're very, very nice and noisy, and that's great. However, by a point, you start to get a little burnt out on it, because there's only so many directions you can go with that sound. And Yeah. The third album came out, Death Magic, and I was like, oh, I like this. I like where they're going with this, but it wasn't complete. You could hear it in songs like Stone Fist and New Coke and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I hear where they're going with this. This is cool. This is like, they're getting more interested in having the clean vocals.
Okay.
Just doing a lot of the heavy lifting. Like, the vocal work was now part of the main focus, which it never really used to be. It used to just be about like how much noise can we make with a guitar and some drums, and like effects pedals on effects pedals on effects pedals.
Yeah.
And this album just completes this transformation, or pushes it even further down this logical conclusion, which is, let's just make really dark, heavy pop music, and it's great. I love it.
Sounds interesting.
If you need particular songs to pick out, the two singles that they released, Strange Days 1999, and oh god, what was the other one called? It's Feel Nothing. Those two tracks in particular really show where they've gone with this sound, and they're excellent pop tracks. So yeah, I would heavily recommend this album, just based on the idea that like, it's okay for a band to change as long as they still stay kind of interesting, and there's no denying that they're still Health.
Okay.
It's not like when you woke up one day and all of a sudden Biffy Clyro were boring. Like, like they went from fucking Infinityland to Puzzle seemingly overnight, and it's like, wow, they're a completely different, more boring band now. Yeah. And it's like, it wasn't like that. Health have transformed over the space of like 2 albums now into this new band, which I think are better. And that's a bit of a controversial opinion, because people love old Health and they don't like this as much.
See, I don't know Health as well. It's another one of these bands that I should be into, but I've never given them a proper listen. Sort of like Twilight Sad and maybe some other things that you mentioned.
LCD Sound
later.
System.
Yeah.
How long did I bother you about listening to LCD Sound System?
Here's the thing about LCD Sound System. When LCD Sound System came out, everybody told me that I would love them because they're exactly my type of band. Like, or what they like, or they're like Talking Heads or Public Image Limited, or like ESG or something. You know, they're sort of post-punk, and sort of they've got electronica things. And to the point where everybody recommended it to me so much that it sort of put me off them. Yeah. I was like, you know what, I'm not going to listen to them. And then it was, when did that first album come out?
2006, I think. No,
5, 4.
I think it was
something
5
like
or 4 or something.
And I never liked them, and all my friends liked them, and I never liked them. And then I saw like a live thing that they did, like at Glastonbury, when they reformed, and suddenly I got it. I was like, oh, I'm into it now. So yeah, I mean, maybe, you know, I need to go back and listen to stuff that I never gave a proper listen to. So yeah, I'll give this a listen. Health. Yeah. Right, my next one that I liked, this is sort of ambient chill. I suppose it is a little chill wave. It's this act called Lifafa, and it's an album called Jago. I've probably mispronounced that. That's Jaago. It's like Indian electronica music, and it's very much like Fortet or something like that. It's sort of very relaxed and chilled out. There's a little bit sort of South Indian instrumentation, and it's just sort of like a nice mix of Bollywood or Hindi music and glitchy electronica. It's not abrasive. It's not going to hit you round the face, but it's got this nice sort of earworm, and it's got a nice groove to it. Yeah. So it's if you like Forte, it's a good one. I think you'll like it. It's a nice little chilled out record.
Okay, so this one I do have to I owe the fact that I even listened to it at all to the Melon. Okay. That new Ariana Grande album, and you can agree here, is a banger.
It is. It's a solid banger.
It's extremely fun and really well produced.
It is.
And surprisingly grounded for an artist that I had no idea had anything to say.
Yes, yeah.
And I know it's not written by her, it's partially written by her. As per usual for pop. Yeah. The lyrics are sourced out. There's a list.
There's a number of producers, and
lots of producers dealing with the music side, lots of writers helping them with the lyrical side, but that's not the issue here. a lot of the stuff that's made it in that's actually deeply personal, like in the song Thank You Next, where she shouts out all her exes and stuff like that. You can tell her input was very strong. And you can tell that there was definitely something there in terms of production as well, that was just like, we need to separate this from the pack, and we need to separate it from the rest of her discography. And it feels so fucking needle perfect as like just as a perfect R&B record, and just as very, very, very good pop. Yeah,
I was surprised by how much I liked it. Yeah. I'm 30. We're both 30. Yeah. I've never knowingly heard Ariana Grande before. You sort of know just by
osmosis.
You sort of like, okay, she's the biggest pop star in the world.
Yeah. She looks 18.
I'm 30. I'm not going to be into this.
I'm a creep if I'm into it as well. Like, I feel like a creep.
So when you text me and went, no, the Melon's got it right, you need to listen to this record. I was like, I'm really impressed by it. It's just like a good, slightly dark R&B record. My one reservation with the album, I thought the production's really good.
Yeah.
And this might not be fair for her, but because I don't know her voice is a little, what would the word be?
Generic.
It's not a powerful voice. It's not like instantly recognizable.
Yeah, that's true.
Like a Madonna or a Lady Gaga. It's like their voice.
Yeah,
her voice is slightly.
She belongs in that camp of incredibly samey sort of pop songstresses.
Like she's got a nice voice and she can sing well, but it's not distinctive. I think that's what I'm trying to say here.
That's true.
It's not distinctive. With a few more records, maybe I'm not being fair here, but maybe she'll have a more distinctive tone to her voice.
I think,
and maybe it's just I'm not familiar with it. No, probably if you ask a 13-year-old or an 11-year-old, they'll go, oh, no, I can definitely tell her voice.
There probably is an element of that, of like just the fact that we didn't grow up with her, and we don't know her very well, that we don't know what separates her from the rest in terms of an actual performer, what her voice is like. But as far as I'm concerned, I couldn't tell her apart from like a Carly Rae Jepsen.
I'm the same. It
sounds exactly the same to me, but like the level of production and songwriting was so much better that I was like, fuck it.
And she's got a nice voice. I'm not knocking it. It just didn't. It didn't. If you were to play me something else by her, I couldn't tell you instantly that was her voice. Yeah. From an earlier record.
That's true, yeah.
But yeah, it's very good. I'm pleasantly surprised by how good it was.
Yeah.
Very good. Yeah.
Sleaford Mods, Eaton Alive.
Sleaford.
And Eaton is spelled E-T-O-N. Eaton Alive.
Check out that pun. God, that's good.
That's a perfect political pun.
That's good.
And that's what makes this band so great, is like, it's two tramps with a laptop playing loops and just shouting in a Cockney accent about how shite everything is.
Yeah, I love it.
How can you deny how good that is?
I love them. It's a new record by them. There's not one thing I did notice with this record is you get all the stuff that you'll always get with one of their records, but there seems to be more of an attempt on Jason's part. Where he seems to be more. There's a few more instances of him singing on this record. Yeah, it's not always him barking in a sort of tone poem like way. There's a few instances where there's more an attempt at melody on this record.
Yeah.
So there's even in their very, very well known sound, they're not really deviating from the past, but there are interesting little attempts at melody.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, it's really good. I if you like Sleaford, I always get it wrong. Sleaford. If you like Sleaford Mods, which I do, it's another one of their records which you'll like.
It's true. They're limited in their the space that they can move around in this sound, but that's not a bad thing for them. But they've nailed it. And
yes,
like, I mean, he's basically the new John Cooper Clarke.
Yeah.
And those laptop noises, they're just fucking. It's like he went on Fruity Loops and he just went farty bass.
Oh
yeah,
god,
sure,
it's
not?
good. But
It's
Kebab
great.
Spider is
Kebab Spider's so good.
Spider's so good. There's lots of really good songs on this album. It's just funny as always. You know, they get compared to like The Fall a lot. Because of the number of albums that they put out, the sort of the production rate of them, and I guess you could compare them to The Fall in that, you know, when you bought a Fall record, you know it's a Fall record. There's a very distinctive style to his voice, and the sort of music behind it. But even within The Fall, there's sort of little changes to it, and if you're a long time fan of Sleaford Mods or The Fall, you can hear the little changes in each record, so you're like, oh, this is quite interesting. Now they are trying a little bit of melody, or he's singing on this record, you know. So it's some of it's an interesting departure from their usual sound, but it still is totally their record. You know, it's a good one. I really liked it. It's good fun.
It filled the gap of like that sort of sound and that feel of that being so homebrew and so stripped back. It filled that gap that the first Streets album left for me, where I was just like, that original Pirate material is so fucking good, and it's so simple in its execution that I was like, I want more like that. I want more things like that. And nothing ever really happened. He grew and tried to change his style, and it was less interesting.
I think with the Streets, you know, he did that thing where the first album's great, second album's pretty good, but that's where you have the pop hit. And then the third album, he does what they all do, which is he writes an album about how difficult it is being a pop star, and you're like, oh, fuck off, right? So it's sort of, I don't know if the Streets coming back.
Yeah, they are.
Are they good?
I haven't heard.
I've not heard any of the new stuff.
But apparently he's coming back. He thinks the Streets have something to say again. Whatever that means.
Well, I think my favourite hip hop record of the year so far is Little Sims, with an album called Grey Area. She's a rapper from London, I think, and I'd heard that, you know, during the day if I'm not working, I've got sort of 6 music on or something, and this single came on called Selfish, and it's sort of this nice sort of pop rap record. And I was like, oh, that's quite interesting. So I listened to the album, and the album is really very varied. So you got these sort of nice pop sort of melodies, with some really interesting sort of lyrical flow over the top of it. But then you've got songs that are more in touch with sort of older school grime beats, and then you've got sort of funk rhythms to some of the songs in there, and sort of jazzier influences. And it's, you know, it's the album must be about half an hour long, and it's totally, you know, it's like what we were saying earlier about the songs are all like 3-4 minute sort of pop songs or like pop rap songs, and she knows exactly what she's doing. It's like the beats are varied enough that it's a really interesting record, and her flow is great. You know, you can hear influences of like Missy Elliott or sort of old school sort of grime in there, just in terms of how she's rapping, and it's pretty funny as well. So it's a good record.
Cool.
Another one of these little artists.
Yeah, it's one that I've not heard of.
There's too many. The one thing, there's too many littles out there in the rap world. So you can get confused by, is it another Little Panda song, or
I
a
thought
little
Lil Pump was dead, but he's not. It's one of the other Lils.
I think
dead.
Little Dead's dead. I can't keep up with all the modern rappers that are dead.
No. Especially because, I mean, we talked about it and I cut it out at the last thing, but we talked about this for like 20 minutes before we fucking even started doing the album of the year thing.
Put that out as a bonus.
Like XXX Tentacion and stuff like that. Like, he was a fucking dick, and he'd released bad music, and it's like, there's too many people just like him where I'm just like, Did he die? Yeah, apparently he died. For what? Like, what the fuck are these guys getting up to? And like that dick. What's his name?
69, the king, or what?
Tekashi 69.
Yeah, that was
going
a joke.
to fucking jail for racketeering and being a dirty. He's a nonce. It's like he didn't even go to jail for shooting another guy. He went to jail for racketeering, and he didn't even go to jail, did he? Is he even doing time?
Oh, I can't keep up with the world of emo SoundCloud rap these days.
Imagine Tekashi 69 doing porridge. Imagine him lying there doing porridge.
Ronnie Barker and
he's like, he goes in the lamb. Oh god, yeah, SoundCloud rappers are something else, man.
Yeah.
An endless supply of hilarity and disappointment, seemingly.
That's true. I mean, I'm just old. It's sort of like hip hop that was. This is not about any of the albums that we've talked about, but it's sort of like a SoundCloud rap is sort of like rap music that was clearly made by a generation that were very impressionable when emo music was out.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And it's as good as I can imagine.
Oh god, yeah. Imagine like we are now living in that era. Actually, this informs something that I kind of wanted to talk about. I'm just going to skip ahead to this one.
Yeah, okay.
We're living in an era informed by people who are making SoundCloud rap based around Bring Me the Horizon music and stuff like that, because they look like lead singers of like metalcore bands now. Everyone's tatted up and everything like
face
that.
tattoos.
Everyone looks like a fucking twatted up.
Multicoloured teeth.
And like, I mean, that new Bring Me the Horizon album, I know you don't listen to them and you have no frame of reference for how bad this album truly is.
No.
But it's really something else, because I've listened to them since like their second album, Suicide Season.
We saw them open for Killswitch and Cage many years ago.
That's a hell of a lineup there. I could still go back and listen to Killswitch albums now, and I'd be like, it's still alright. It's nothing special, but but I especially like, I'd actually go back and listen to the first album that doesn't have that guy on it.
Okay,
where it's just all shouting and stuff. I'd be like, yeah, I'll go back to that. That's
there's been no metal records this year that I've been into. I need some more metal this year.
Yeah, I don't really have anything either, except for this one. This one's. Well, no, there's 2 metal albums on my list, but both of them were fucking boring and shit. But Bring Me the Horizon was shit on a different level. This is them, again, they've transformed over the years from just fucking full-blown, like, screamo, like, really heavy metalcore, and like, Suicide Season and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
To basically what this album is like pseudo hip hop, pseudo R&B, pseudo soul, pseudo pop. They're trying to cover all these bases, and it sounds like fucking garbage.
Oh Christ!
And in that, it's just I get it when you can get bored and you just want to try new things. The last album they released, I can't remember what the fuck it was called, but it had an umbrella on the cover. It was black with a white umbrella on the cover, and there was rain inside the umbrella coming down. So imagery there.
That's deep, boys.
It's deep. There was some fucking...
Bring me the symbolism.
There was some great tracks on that album. There was a song called Doomed, which was fucking great.
Okay.
And then there was another one, what the fuck was it called? Throne. Throne was good. Some of the singles I thought were actually quite good.
Yeah.
But otherwise they're just boring. They're just a boring, annoying band generally.
Okay.
And then this album came out, and I was like, I'll give it a go, because I always give it a go.
Aye.
It fucking sucked. No, even one song was I like, oh, this is actually kind of good. No, not even one did I go, I get it, I like that. No, nothing.
No, nothing.
Nothing to give whatsoever, this album, and it really disappointed in a weird way, because I didn't know that I wanted it to be at least a little bit good.
Well, you don't want to waste 45 minutes.
It's true, yeah.
Probably a Bring Me Horizon album's probably longer. It's probably about 75 minutes, right?
Actually, no, you're right. It's about 40-ish minutes.
People don't do 75-minute long albums these days. They
fucking, have you heard there's a new Swan album's coming out? Swan's album.
Oh Christ, here we go.
Yeah, it's like 80 minutes long or something like that.
I mean, it'll be the best record of the year, but
But it's an album entirely designed to crowdfund another album.
Oh, right.
So it's only been limited to 2,500 pressings or something like that. Michael Gira a dick as well. I don't like him. So moving away.
I never liked him.
Moving away from Bring Me the Horizon. What else you got?
What did I hear this year?
Did you listen to that Billie Eilish album?
No, I've not heard that. I know it's a name that I've heard online. What is it, like teenage sort of pop rap sort of thing?
It's breathy.
Listen to this old man trying to jump into the conversation here.
It's breathy, electronic-y kind of pop music stuff. So
okay.
If you like your Grimes...
Yeah, I like my Grimes.
If you like that sort of stuff, then you'll like this, because it's just kind of more of the same. She's got a good attitude. Like, I like her attitude and her aesthetic that they've got for her. Like, she's only 17, though, which is weird.
Okay, yeah.
She's really, really young, and she looks... like a SoundCloud rapper, kinda.
Yeah, okay.
She's got
green hair, probably.
Yeah, like dyed hair and tats. I'm pretty sure she's got tats.
All the Waynes have tats,
but not on her
days.
face, at least. Thankfully, I don't think. But either way, she looks the part, and she's got a decent voice for it because it sounds kind of witch housey, like whispered.
Oh yeah,
like,
yeah.
Kind of whispered, throaty, hushed sort of tones and stuff. And roundly, just solid pop. Sorry, on you go.
No.
I just wanted to talk about it because
I'll give that one a listen.
One of those ones that I was actually sifting through Twitter one day, and it was actually people that I used to go to college with. Some of them are still on my Twitter feed, and I think I saw one of them talk about her, and I was like, I've seen a lot of people, particularly young people, talking about this lassie. I wonder if she's any good, and I checked it out, and it was actually pretty good.
Cool, I'll give it a listen.
Yeah.
This next record, I really liked it, and it's totally not anything I would normally listen to. But I liked, and get ready for this one. This is the new record by Beth Gibbons and the Polish National Radio Symphony. Jesus. Right? So before we recorded this, I was like, right, what albums have I missed this year? Like, so I had a look at sort of the best of the year so far. And this came up, and I like Portishead, and I like Beth Gibbons. So I was like, right, I'll give it a go. I'm not, I don't listen to a lot of classical music. This is right. So this album is a rendition of Henryk Gorowski's, I'll probably get that wrong, Gorski's Symphony No. 3. So this is like a bit of modern classical music. I think it was written in the 20s or the 30s, right?
Okay.
And I don't listen to classical music really, but sometimes you listen to something and you go, this is just a beautiful record. This is just, I don't really have a frame of reference in terms of classical music, how it's recorded on an album.
Yeah.
This is a live recording from a couple of years ago, and what is really great about it is that, if you've ever been dragged to classical music by, their school for a concert or something, what does cut through the sort of pretentiousness or the elitism of it is just the range of the sounds.
Yeah.
So, there is something quite sort of exciting when you hear an orchestra tune up. You hear that sort of, when it sort of gets you on a sort of primeval level almost.
Yeah.
The recording of this record, the recording is great, and listen to it on a really good quality sound system, because you get the sort of low bass of the percussion, and then you've got the sort of high sort of wind instruments or whatever. And her vocals, it's not like Portishead. She's singing a sort of operatic style in Polish.
Okay.
But it's gorgeous. It's just, sometimes you just have to notice quality where quality is due, and you just go, no, it's a gorgeous record.
Yeah,
it's really well recorded. I don't know much about classical music, but it's sort of hypnotic. It's like 3 tracks. They're all like 20 minutes, 15-minute long tracks. It's not like songs. It's like movements. Yeah. But it's great. It's really good. I was really surprised by how much I liked it. There's a lot of... it's difficult sort of talking about classical music or orchestral music, because it's all about, the intricacies and the sort of changes. But the actual piece is really interesting. It's sort of loud and then quiet, and it goes from sort of a wide range of different instrumentations, and her voice comes in over the top occasionally, and she sings really well. Like, I don't know if she can speak Polish.
Yeah.
Or if she's had any training in operatic singing, but she's just fucking nails it. It's so good. It's my unexpected gem so far. So if it's a little off-putting, it's a bit of classical music, a bit of modern classical music, but I just jumped in because I liked Portishead, and I discovered that it's a really great record.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would give it a shot.
Well, again, staying in that vein of like instrumental stuff and like good music to sort of chill to and whatnot. I went back as a slight diversion before we get to the album I actually want to talk about. I went back and I listened to that Sons of Kemet album from last year.
Oh yeah.
And my word, is it good?
Oh,
you were very right about it. I regret not listening to it at the time last year, but fuck me, man, I discovered it this year and it's so good. But it also got me listening to The Comet Is Coming.
Oh, this is great. This record's
that
great.
That last album before their new one, I was listening to the last album like 2 months ago, and I was like, holy shit, this band are good. And like I was expecting to talk to you about them at some point, never got around to it.
Yeah.
And then before I knew it, they dropped a new album this year. So I was like, this is great.
And it's a great album.
It is.
It's really good.
It's a fantastic album. It's one of those ones as well where you're just like, that there's something in me as well that feels like the world of jazz and whatnot wants me to stay out. There's an element of elitism there as well. There's an element of like pretentiousness, but this new form of jazz that's erupting
really
forward, I'm really digging this because it feels more accessible than ever before. It's like more orientated around like almost fucking hip hop driven beats.
Yeah, I think like
everything's about
with people like Kamasai Washington or Bad Not Good.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of sort of modern jazz musicians that are clearly influenced by hip hop or whatever. So I think it's sort of bringing it back to
definitely
a younger audience. But yeah, no, I'd agree with you. This record,
it's a belter.
Great.
If you like anything vaguely jazzy, it's pretty much exactly up your street.
It's called Trust in the Life Force of the Deep Mystery, and they're called The Comet Is Coming, the band, and it's, as you would imagine with that title, it's very sci-fi heavy.
Yeah, there's a grandiosity to their sound, which is kind of cool.
It sounds like if a jazz group did a sort of funk reworking of like the 2001 soundtrack.
Yeah. Aye.
Or something like, there's a lot of like Blade Runner Vangelis sort of synth in there.
It sounds spacey.
Yeah.
The only way to describe it is it sounds spacey. It's floaty and like cosmic and psychedelic. There's an element of that nice.
There's a sort of funk to it, like almost disco in places.
Yeah.
And it's got the fucking most solid grooves of any record of it. Just like thick, chunky grooves.
Yeah.
It's sort of like the Sons of Kemet record, where it's just like, good God, these guys know how to funk it out. It's just so good. Oh, I love it.
It was a really solid album.
I think that might be my. It's maybe it's too late to say, but it's probably the most recent of the albums that we've spoken about that I've listened to. Cause it's only just come out, like in the last week or two.
Yeah, it was very recent.
So that's just on my mind at the moment. I was just like, is it my favourite of the year so far? I don't know. But it's definitely up there, I think. I think it'll be in my 10 at the end of the year.
Oh yeah,
probably.
It'll grow. And we will be coming back at you at the end of the year with another top 10.
Hey guys! Maybe we'll do another one before then.
Oh yeah, I'd like to get to the point where we do this monthly.
That'd be nice, yeah.
Because it's just an excuse to hang out as well.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
But
is there any other ones that you...
I would like very, very briefly to talk about my deep, deep, deep disappointment in Flames.
Okay.
In Flames are a band that started with such promise
and
then continued to outdo themselves for basically like 5 albums in a row.
Yeah.
Well, not in a row. There was a few hiccups here and there. But like anyone who's listened to Clayman,
oh Christ, Clayman,
Colony,
so good. Yeah.
Oracle, anyone who's listened to Come Clarity and some parts of Soundtrack to Escaping Roots to Remain.
Yeah.
Those albums are fucking excellent.
Yeah.
Come Clarity was where they peaked. Unfortunately, we're talking about, that was like what, 2006?
Oh god, that was
maybe 2004.
At least a decade ago.
It was a while ago.
Yeah.
And we were listening to In Flames at the time. Come Clarity came out, and it was fucking
it's great,
unbelievable. Clayman will still always be my favourite.
I'd go with you there. Yeah,
the
I think
classic.
Clayman's the classic.
Colony's very close, and I think actually Colony and Horacle share a position for me. They're as good as each other. But then I listened to the one that they followed up Come Clarity with. I can't even remember what the fuck it was called.
Oh god,
now,
I'd sort of fallen off the boat with them by then. They
became so forgettable so fast, it was unreal. I couldn't believe how boring their music became after Come Clarity, because there was something broke in Come Clarity where they just they'd run out of great hooks and great choruses, and they were still as heavy as they ever were, but they just weren't interesting to listen to anymore.
Yeah.
And they continued like this. They've released 4 albums since Come Clarity, I think, and not one of them have been interesting. And this new one is very like it. It's called I the Mask. I, the Mask.
I as in the letter I. Or
I as in I am the mask.
Not E-Y-E.
No. And I listened to I the Mask, and it bored the absolute fucking arse off me. So
you listened to I the Mask?
I the Mask.
I the Mask. Okay.
The Mask?
A bit of Frankie and Josie there. But is it so? It's as boring as you would imagine.
Oh God, yeah, it did absolutely nothing for me, unfortunately.
That's a shame.
It is deeply disappointing, because I know the band have more than passed their prime at this point, and there's no point in mourning the loss of them, because there are still a lot of great In Flames albums I can go back and listen to.
Yeah.
But it would be nice if they released something kind of good.
Yeah.
But whatever.
So that's sort of your 2 disappointing metal records of the year.
Yeah, the Bring Me the Horizon one, which technically wasn't disappointed by, because I know they're shite. I just wanted there to be some bangers, like a couple of good songs on it, and nothing on it. And now this In Flames record, where I was just like, I didn't even know they'd released an album, and I listened to it and I was like, oh, it's the same.
I need some metal. So no, that's we're now in April.
Yeah,
and I've not got any metal so far this year. Maybe I've just not dug enough, because I think with the metal you need to do a little bit of digging more than you did maybe 10-15 years ago. It's not as...
It's fallen out of vogue as well.
Yeah,
people don't talk about metal.
I'd like to see a really good metal record before the end of the year, either from somewhere I'm not expecting, a new band or something, or one of the old guys just fucking pull it out your arse and just give me a really solid record.
Yeah, no.
I don't know who the fuck would do it.
Tool have been teasing the release this year.
So that's what I'd like. I'd like a really good metal record this year, and just a nice beefy hip hop record with a lot of bangers. Like all the hip hop records that I've spoke about today, they're all really great records, but they're sort of more mellow, and they're more sort of relaxed vibe to them. A Little Sims record, as great as it is a very sort of, it's a nice, pleasant experience.
Yeah.
And Malibu Ken is sort of what you would expect as well from Aesop Rock, but I just want a dirty, smelly, absolute banger of a record. Something like, Danny Brown's A Downward Spiral or Run the Jewels. Just give me just a full album of absolute bangers.
Danny Brown should be due an album this year.
So.
And Run the Jewels are definitely releasing something.
Oh, yes.
And really, we should probably be looking for a new Kendrick album.
Yeah. The last one I really liked, Damn, was great. Yeah. So that I'd like that as well. I'd like a really
big...
a
Barfly, but it was good.
No, but so that's sort of what I would like before the end of the year. A really great record, metal record, and a really beefy hip hop record.
Yeah.
I don't know, what would you look forward to? Or
well, I'm kind of... I had a little blast from the past recently. Because I was on YouTube and I was recommended something, and I instantly clicked on it because it'd been so long since I listened to them, and I was surprised when I fucking loved it. The new Rammstein track came out.
I've not heard it. Oh, I'm excited.
It's called Deutschland.
Okay.
And it feels like a culmination of everything that they've done up until that point. I mean, they've been away for 10 years.
Oh God, that's
so
right. Yeah.
They've released a bunch of live albums in between, but like they took this massive fucking break, and it sounds exactly like I wanted Rammstein to sound. And the video is ridiculous.
Right, I'm gonna, as soon as this is done, I'm gonna listen to it. Right.
It's so theatrical and massive and catchy as good Rammstein tracks are.
Yeah. Oh, I'm really excited.
Yeah, it got me really excited for that album, because apparently there is going to be a full album this year.
Good.
It's not got a title yet or a date, I don't think. Oh no, it's coming out in May.
Oh, cool. All right, okay. So,
but it doesn't have a title yet, weirdly.
Okay.
But either way, they're back, and I'm looking forward to that, because it'd be nice to have Rammstein-ish kind of music in my life.
So good.
But also, there's a little bit in me that's like, yeah, I want something a little bit more mellow. I want something a little bit more songwriting orientated, because that was what drove a lot of my top 10 last year, was things like Father John Misty and whatnot. So The National are coming out with another album.
Okay.
And I'm really looking forward to that, because their last one, Sleep Well Beast, was fucking brilliant. And the one before that, I liked, Trouble Will Find Me.
Yeah.
And the thing is, The National aren't even typically indie.
Yeah.
They're bigger than that. There's like more members of the band than you would know there is. Like, there's secretly loads of members. And they play such eclectic, like, sort of sounding music. Sometimes they'll go in completely unusual directions, and they'll make these really, really long, really somber tracks that just like sort of hit you right in the right places, but also they can come away with some just real fun poppy kind of songs.
Alright, that's interesting.
I'm not going to say they're not groundbreaking in any sort of way. They don't like light anyone's experimental fire or anything like that. But they just make very, very solid indie rock. Very solid indie rock. And I'd say that this new album especially is being powered by a short film. I'm looking forward to it, because I always do look forward to The National coming. Well, I mean, do you want to do a recommendation then?
Okay, yeah, like an old album.
Yeah, something that I actually think I have something in mind for you that I would like you to listen to.
Okay, yeah.
Thankfully, it isn't folk.
Okay.
But it is something as well that you maybe, I don't really think you ever treaded the boards at all. I want you to listen to a Screamo album.
A what?
A Screamo album.
A Screamo album? Okay.
Yeah, from back in the day. I want you to listen to Alexis on Fire's Watch Out.
So a Screamo sort of record.
Yeah. It's just straight out Screamo.
Okay, yeah.
There's no nuance to it whatsoever. It's just a really, really great, fast as fuck Screamo record.
Because what turned me off with Screamo was, like I was saying earlier, like I like my metal a little bit grungier and a little bit like lo-fi in the recording, and I think with Screamo stuff, sort of mid 2000s, I think it was overproduced. Like the production outside of the actual vocals or whatever, the actual production's really clean. Yeah. You know, so that sort of put me off a little, but okay, no, I'll give this a listen. Alexis on Fire, watch it. Okay, well, I'll listen to it the next time we do one of these. I'll tell you what I think. Okay, let me think. A record that I would recommend for you. Okay, well, seeing as you've recommended a metal album for me, what I'll do is I'll go with a metal album for you. So my recommendation for yourself on the sort of the other end of the spectrum, I know you're not really into the sort of Norwegian black metal or anything like that.
That's true.
So why not give a listen to the absolute classic that is, why not give Mayhem's Die Mysteries dom Samasans. Oh, I've totally got that wrong. Basically the album with the blue church on the front. Give that one a listen. This one is like the album that I have in my collection that is the most sort of difficult to justify in terms of not in terms of like the music's great. Yeah. It's like a classic of Norwegian black metal, very atmospheric and very sort of spooky, and it's just great, very grungy, nasty vocals and the rest of it. But it's that record where, because it's got Vicarins on it, and because Euronymous was murdered, it's a, you know, the thing with black metal is that I think you can listen to the music and separate the artist from the music, because some of the Burzum stuff is great.
Yeah.
You just need to be totally clear in your head. I'm not supporting the person or the ideas. But this one, and that's easier. Here's my advice: if you want to get into Norwegian black metal, but you don't want to give any sort of money to these people, just listen to it illegally. But I have this record on CD, so I have given the money. So this one is the most difficult record I've got to justify outside of Thriller by Michael Jackson. Ooh, that's a hot topic. So yeah, I would give that one a listen. I would say I think you might like it, actually. Okay. It's sort of spacey and atmospheric, and it's just some of the thrashing on it is just peak sort of peak sort of great thrashing on it. So yeah, I would give that that's my recommendation.
I'm looking forward to it.
That'll be good.
I think I'm liking this vibe of like, I'm going to actually potentially crack into a part of a genre that I haven't really tread in before.
No, I'm the same. I just you know, in terms of my metal, I was as a teenager a total metal snob. I was like, I know what genres I like and I know what I don't like, so that would have totally determined me not listening to Alexis is on Fire. So I'm looking forward to this. I'm older now. I'm not as judgmental. I can listen to it, and I think I'll be able to appreciate it as as what it is. Just like, if it's a good record, I like it. So I'm looking forward to this as well. Maybe we'll do this. We'll recommend a record or something. Yeah. Okay.
We'll try our best to get another one recorded before the end of May.
Yes. Yeah.
So we can kind of actually keep this going as a steady monthly musical book club almost.
Yeah, that'd be good. Yeah. Just recommend older, because it's, you need sort of time to listen to records that are, new records that are coming out, but it might be easier to go, here's an old record that I think you'll like. Yeah. But yeah, I'm up for that.
Especially because, like, as like echo chambery as sometimes it feels, because a lot of our musical tastes has started to dovetail.
Yeah.
We went in very different directions when we were younger.
We did, yeah.
So, like, you cover a lot of bases that I absolutely don't, and I cover a lot of bases that you absolutely don't. So, like, I mean, you could go deep cuts into, like, make me listen to a Public Enemy record.
A lot of old school hip hop,
and I'd be
records,
like, I don't know that. I'm not aware of it. Or, like, I could make you listen to, say, I don't know, the first Frightened Rabbit album.
Yeah,
you
totally.
will eventually have to deal with the fact that there is some good folk out there.
No, I'm totally up for being surprised and enjoying folk. But yeah, no, I'm up for that. Yeah, that'd be cool. That'll be good.
Excellent. Cool. Well, yous all take care out there in the internet.
Bye.
See ya.
See ya.